You don't like hearing that, do you? Of course you don't. Because accepting it would mean you lose your favorite excuse, blaming the world. You tell yourself you're capable of more, but capability that never moves is just imagination. You wake up every day with the same habits, the same hesitation, the same silent fear, and then you wonder why nothing changes. I'll tell you why. You choose comfort the way weak people choose religion, blindly, desperately, and without proof. You say you want control, but the moment control demands sacrifice, you retreat. You call it patience. I call it cowardice. You're not unlucky. You're not misunderstood. You are simply unwilling to do what others won't see you doing. And until that changes, this is your ceiling. Memorize that feeling. This frustration, this pressure in your chest, that's reality correcting your delusions. You keep pretending you're waiting for the right moment. Let me dismantle that lie right now. The right moment never arrives for people like you because you confuse preparation with avoidance. You overthink because thinking feels productive without risking failure. You plan because planning gives you the illusion of movement. But when it's time to act, you freeze. And you know why? Because action exposes the truth. It shows whether you're actually built for this or just good at fantasizing about it. Deep down, you're terrified that if you go all in and still fail, you'll have nothing left to protect your ego. So you stall, you scroll, you distract yourself. You waste days and then blame exhaustion. You are not tired. You are undisciplined. And discipline doesn't care how you feel. You crave respect, yet your daily behavior begs to be ignored. You want to be taken seriously, yet you negotiate with yourself every time something gets hard. Strong people don't argue with their weakness. They eliminate it. But you entertain it. You give it excuses. You let it speak. And then you wonder why your mind feels noisy and unstable. You are not battling the world. You are battling your own lack of structure. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you teach your mind that your words are worthless. And once your own mind stops believing you, why should anyone else? You don't need confidence. Confidence is a side effect. What you lack is authority over yourself. Look at your results. Don't flinch, don't explain, don't justify. Results don't lie. They never do. Your output is a perfect reflection of your standards, not your intentions, not your potential, your standards. You tolerate distractions, so you get mediocrity. You tolerate inconsistency, so you get instability. You tolerate weakness, so weakness becomes your identity. And the most dangerous part? You've gotten used to it. You've normalized underperforming because it hurts less than admitting you're wasting your life. But denial doesn't pause time. Every day you delay, someone else replaces you. Quieter, sharper, hungrier. The world doesn't wait for self-pity to resolve itself. You think people are ahead of you because they're lucky. That's a convenient fantasy. Luck is what weak minds use to avoid acknowledging effort they're unwilling to give. What you call luck is obsession, sacrifice, repetition, pain done in silence. While you were seeking balance, they were building dominance. While you were protecting your feelings, they were sharpening their edge. And now you look up and call it unfair. It isn't. It's mathematical. Input equals output. You simply don't like the equation because it exposes you. You want results without transformation, power without pressure. That's not how this works. You keep waiting for motivation like it's going to save you. That's childish. Motivation is a chemical reaction, not a strategy. It fades. It lies. It abandons you the moment resistance appears. The ones who dominate don't rely on feeling ready. They move because movement is non-negotiable. You think discipline is cruel. It isn't. It's honest. It tells you exactly where you stand every single day. And right now, discipline would expose how soft you've become. That's why you avoid it. Because deep down, you know, if you stripped away distractions, comfort, and excuses, there wouldn't be much left. That realization scares you more than failure ever could. Let me be clear. No one is coming to save you. No speech, no video, no person, no moment. If something is going to change, it will be because you decided that staying the same is no longer acceptable. And that decision isn't emotional. It's cold. It's calculated. It's ruthless. You don't rise by hoping. You rise by eliminating the version of yourself that keeps choosing the easy way out. That version is comfortable, familiar, and completely useless for what you claim you want. If you're not willing to abandon him, then stop pretending you're meant for more. This is the final truth, and I won't repeat it gently. Your life will only change when your standards do. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. The moment you stop negotiating with weakness. The moment you act without asking permission from fear. The moment you accept that pain is the price of control, not a sign to quit. Until then, stay exactly where you are. Because this place, this frustration, this regret, this quiet dissatisfaction is not punishment. It's accuracy. And whether you remain here or rise beyond it is no longer a mystery. It's a decision. You thought acknowledging that would be the hardest part. It wasn't. The hardest part is realizing that knowing the truth doesn't automatically change you. Awareness without action is just another form of self-deception, and you're already an expert at that. You've heard words like these before. You nodded, you felt something, and then you went back to the same patterns. That's why this isn't about inspiration. This is about exposure. I'm holding a mirror in front of you, and you're uncomfortable because there's nowhere left to hide. You don't lack information, you lack execution, and the gap between the two is where your potential rots. You keep telling yourself you'll change when the pressure gets higher. That's another lie. Pressure doesn't create strength, it reveals it. And when pressure has shown up in your life, you folded. You escaped into distractions. You numbed yourself. You ran from discomfort instead of using it. That's why your tolerance for pain is so low. You've trained yourself to quit the moment things feel heavy. You want intensity without endurance. You want progress without friction. That contradiction is the reason you're stuck. Until you learn to stay functional under discomfort, you will always be replaceable. You say you want control, but your emotions run your schedule. One bad mood and your discipline collapses. One inconvenience and your standards drop. That's not humanity. That's weakness disguised as sensitivity. The strongest people aren't emotionless. They're selective. They don't let temporary feelings dictate permanent outcomes. You, on the other hand, let your mind sabotage you daily and call it being real. Reality doesn't care about your inner chaos. It rewards consistency. And consistency doesn't come from feeling good. It comes from obedience to a decision you refuse to break. You want to be feared, respected, untouchable? Then stop seeking validation. The moment you crave approval, you give away leverage. You dilute yourself to be accepted. You soften your edges so you don't offend. And in doing so, you become forgettable. Dominance isn't loud. It's undeniable. It's built in silence while others announce their intentions. You talk too much about what you'll do and not enough time doing it. Silence would expose how empty your words are, and that's why you avoid it. Every night, you lie to yourself before sleeping. You say, tomorrow will be different. It won't be, unless tonight you decide to become someone else. Not a better version, a different one. The version of you that needs comfort, reassurance, and motivation cannot coexist with the version that wins. One of them has to die. You keep trying to balance both, and that's why you're losing. Progress demands cruelty toward your old habits. Mercy is reserved for those who can afford stagnation. You cannot. You're not overwhelmed. You're unfocused. Your energy is scattered because you refuse to prioritize. Everything feels important, so nothing moves. The moment you choose one direction and cut everything else, clarity appears. But clarity terrifies you, because once the path is clear, failure has nowhere to hide. You'll know exactly why you didn't make it, and it won't be circumstances. It will be you. That level of accountability is rare. That's why most people stay average. It's safer there. You think this is harsh. It is. Because softness hasn't worked on you. Comfort hasn't worked. Encouragement hasn't worked. You don't need kindness. You need precision. You need to be cut down to what actually matters. Your time is limited, whether you respect it or not. And every day you waste convincing yourself you're figuring things out is a day you'll never get back. The world won't remember your intentions. It will only measure what you produced. So decide, not emotionally, not dramatically. Decide with cold clarity. Either continue exactly as you are and accept everything that comes with it, the mediocrity, the regret, the quiet resentment, or remove the version of yourself that keeps you here. There is no third option, no compromise, no in-between. The moment you understand that, something changes. Not around you, inside you. And from there, everything else becomes a matter of execution. By now, you should understand something uncomfortable. This isn't about becoming powerful. It's about removing everything that makes you weak. Power isn't added. It's revealed once the excess is burned away. And you've been carrying excess your entire life. Excess emotions, excess excuses, excess attachment to how things should feel. You cling to comfort like it's oxygen, then wonder why you feel suffocated. Strength requires space. Space is created by cutting. And you've avoided cutting because you're sentimental about versions of yourself that have never delivered results. You keep measuring yourself against others, hoping it will either comfort you or motivate you. It does neither. Comparison only exposes what you lack the discipline to confront alone. You don't need rivals. You need standards. Standards that don't bend when you're tired. Standards that don't negotiate when you're emotional. Right now, your standards collapse the moment resistance appears. That's not adaptability. That's fragility. And fragile people don't survive environments that reward pressure. They complain about them. You think suffering is something to escape. That belief alone guarantees you'll never surpass your limits. Pain isn't the enemy. Uncontrolled pain is. Directed pain builds structure. Avoided pain builds fear. Every time you choose the easier option, you reinforce the belief that you can't handle more. And beliefs shape behavior. That's why you hesitate. That's why you doubt. You trained yourself to be this way, which means, whether you like it or not, you can train yourself out of it. But only if you stop lying to yourself about what that requires. You want clarity? Here it is. Your emotions are irrelevant to your objectives. They can exist, but they do not get a vote. The moment you let feelings decide your actions, you surrender control. And control, once surrendered, is difficult to reclaim. You've been living reactively, responding to moods, circumstances, people. That's not living, that's drifting. The ones who dominate don't drift. They impose direction, even when uncertain, even when afraid, especially when uncomfortable. You mistake intensity for progress. Getting angry, getting hyped, feeling driven for a moment. That's noise. Real change is quiet, boring, repetitive. It doesn't feel heroic. It feels isolating. That's why most people quit. There's no applause in consistency, no recognition in discipline, just results, eventually. And you've always been impatient. You want evidence before commitment. But commitment comes first. Evidence follows. This reversal is where most people fail, including you. Until now, if you choose differently. You say you don't know where to start. That's another excuse. You know exactly what you've been avoiding. The difficult task, the uncomfortable decision, the habit that would expose your lack of self-control. Start there. Always start where resistance is highest. That's where leverage is. Avoidance feels safe, but it compounds weakness. Confrontation hurts once, then builds immunity. You decide which pain you want to live with. Because pain is unavoidable, only its direction is optional. You don't need to announce this shift. Don't tell anyone you're changing. Don't seek acknowledgement. Silence is strategic. Move differently. Act consistently. Let confusion replace explanation. Let results replace promises. The moment you stop talking about who you're going to become, you gain time and energy to actually become it. And most people won't notice at first. That's good. Transformation is strongest when it's underestimated. This is where it narrows. No drama, no emotion, just a line drawn. Either you continue being managed by impulses, distractions, and comfort, or you become someone who operates regardless of them. Both paths are valid, but only one aligns with what you claim to want. Choose quietly, execute relentlessly, and understand this. The moment you stop betraying yourself, everything changes. Not because the world became easier, but because you became difficult to break.